Welcome to Amberg Acres, folks. So one of the things I've been trying to do here, besides hunting, sitting in my stand, is I'm trying to get some siding on this garage. Let me go back a little bit and tell you the story about this garage. So this garage, I don't know what year it was built. I don't know who built it. But anyhow, when I met my wife and we started coming up here, first thing I said is we got to do something with that garage, because all the wood up here on the overhangs and stuff was all starting to get rotten and everything already. So I started with the overhangs. I started on the front here, and I got the front and the two sides done, or pretty much done, and then I blew out my first knee. So it sat here for, oh boy, I bet you two years before I started working on it again. Okay, so seeing I had the two sides already done with the overhangs, then I decided, well, we need some lean-tos to put our wood underneath. So I put the lean-to on this side over here, and then the following year I put the lean-to on the other side over there. Well, then I blew out the second knee. So, you know, that knee takes a while to recover before I can climb ladders and stuff. But anyhow, I finally got back to the back overhang, got the back overhang fixed, replaced some of the wood and whatever, so I had good wood to nail into and whatever. So then it just sat here for a year or two yet, and let's see, that last knee surgery was during COVID, so yeah, it's been 2 years. So I had this siding sitting here. This siding was the same siding I used on my shed project down in West Bend, and at that time we didn't have the trailer or nothing here yet, so I'm like, well, this gray will be good. I'll just buy enough to do the front of the garage here, you know. So that's what I did. So it's been sitting here for how many years? I bet you it's been sitting here 8 years now that I never got to it. It's been wrapped in a tarp under the lean-to here. And so anyhow, you know, I'm finally getting to it. I'm finally getting the siding put on. And what I want to do is I want to show you just my little trick for getting the siding straight so that they all line up. So let's go over to this corner. I have this corner finished already over here. So let's go over here, and I'm going to show you how it looks all nice and straight to each other. So the main thing you're looking for here is you want your lines to line up. You want the siding lines to line up, okay? Doesn't really matter where you start, just so that they all match, okay? So the issue here is my grade is all over the place here, okay? I don't even know that concrete is that level. So I started at what I felt was my highest spot where I had my trim on these garage doors. And that's where I started, and then I hooked up my laser and I shot a line from up here on the wall down to there and got a number. So let's say it was 20 something inches, 27 inches, okay? So that was my number. So then I put a line here on the wall, okay, and I measured everyone down 27 inches on each corner, and that's where I started the starter strip. That's how I lined up the starter strip. All right, that way I knew I was starting halfway straight. Okay, so I got this side done here and this here up to the top of the door. So let me go back over here to the middle and show you my marks on the middle door here. So I don't know how well you can see the mark on the camera, but there's a mark right here, okay? Now I shot all these marks. I put a mark here and here. And I shot them all with the laser, so I know they're straight, they're level. Even though this bottom piece here did not look like it was level at all when I first put it on. But I know this is level. You have to trust your equipment, you know. So anyhow, you know, my number from down there to there was 39 inches is what it ended up being, okay? So I made all these marks with the laser because I know the laser is accurate, okay? So then I just measured down from this one at 39 inches down to the bottom and made a mark down there, you know. So then I know my starter strip, when I put my starter strip on, is going to be perfectly straight. Now let me go get you a piece of the starter strip so you can see what I'm talking about. So here is the starter strip. Okay, it's got a little groove in the bottom here, right here. Okay, and that's the bottom. So I made that edge straight to my marks. Okay, then your piece of siding has that little hook on the bottom, and that just snaps into there, just like that. So now, as long as you got that starter strip, this starter strip perfectly straight, that piece should be straight. So then what I did, as I went up, I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pieces here, okay? So as I went up, each one I measured this top edge to my line. And, you know, I just adjusted, you just slightly adjust, you push down on one corner, lift up on the other, until you get that. So right now I'm at, I believe it's 5.5. I'm sorry, 5 3/4. So I am exactly at 5 3/4 on both sides of this here. Okay. So now I know that I'm carrying this up straight. I have this perfectly straight. So now, if I want to, I could put another mark up higher. But you know, for what I'm doing here, you're not going to see it. It's straight. So as long as I tuck each one of these pieces in now, you know, and get it pulled up nice and snug into that groove, you know, that'll stay straight pretty much all the way to the top, you know. So that's my little trick for hanging the siding. And the other thing with the siding is these pieces here, they need to move, okay? So when the sun heats them up, they expand and contract. So you have to put that nail is not tight. There's a good 1/8 inch away from the tar paper on that nail. So then what that allows us to do, and I don't know if you can see any of that, but that allows this to expand and slide back and forth. You measure this dimension inside this channel, and then I subtract 1/4 inch from whatever I measure. So if I'm measuring 20.5, I cut my piece 20 1/4. That gives me 1/4 inch of free play on this piece of siding inside that groove. And it's very easy to work with. It's very easy to cut. You can use a tin snips and a cut-off saw, a chop saw. That's what I'm using. And you have to be a little careful when you get to these thin areas. You know, you have to go slow with the saw or it'll chip. But a lot of this stuff you don't see, it's covered. So even if you chip the corner, you don't see it, it's in behind this lip. So it's pretty easy stuff to work with. And the key is just getting it on straight. Once you got it on straight, you know, perfect, you know. So if you don't have a laser to put these marks on, you can use a level. You know, you can set your level across here and make a level line, but somehow you got to go from this line to that one on the other side of the garage and get that level to this one. So that's where the laser comes in. You can shoot a longer distance, but I don't know, you could probably do it somehow with a board. If you had a very long straight board and you know it's straight, you could do it that way and get it level or get it close enough, you know. And the whole key is so that when these pieces get to the top, they're all going to match. They're all going to match the one you did over here in this corner. Okay, that's your key. That's what you have to do. So now when you put that piece across the top of the garage doors, it'll look nice. It'll look like it's straight. And that's it. So that's what I've been trying to do here while I'm sitting in my stand. I know this doesn't look like I got very far, but this is well, I put all the trim. I put all the trim on there and the corner pieces, and I painted the door on the other side over here, and that's 3-4 days worth of putzing around for me, you know. So this will go pretty quick now, getting these here. And then once I get up on top there, it'll take a while because I got to cut all the angles and whatever. And to do those angles up there, let me show you that quick too. So this is the trim here. I trimmed out this door. I didn't have this white trim on here on this side. So I did that and I painted it. It needs another coat of paint, but it's good enough for now. Wait for some better weather. It's been raining for two or 3 days here now, which is good. We need the rain. But anyhow, it's hard to get work done when it's raining. But anyhow, for those angles, I set up this, it's basically a protractor. It's got a little wing nut here, and then you adjust it to your angle. So I went up there and I measured the angle, and now I can just set this, on my siding like this here, and I can scribe a line. And then I just carry that line all the way up the piece, and it should be dead on to your angle up there on the roof. And it's that simple. There's no fancy measurements or nothing. You just got to get this set correctly. Up there you have to have a straight line, a level line, and then set this on there and adjust your edge here so that it matches that angle. And now every one you cut will be perfect, you know. So that's it. Those are my little tricks that I can share with you. And I got to get back to work here and get some of this done. And so I can get back out in the woods. I need this all done before the snow starts flying, which could be a week, it could be a month yet, but it's gonna come. It's on its way. So let's cut some pieces and we'll hang that center row, and I'll show you how easy this is to continue this up. So I'd like to interrupt our regular program here to talk to you guys about deer hunting. So my question is, would you shoot this deer? And I'm going to give you my thoughts in a second here, but where this comes from, so I've had several deer like this over the years. I shot one 6 years ago maybe. It almost looked exactly like this one here. So here's a couple other pictures from years ago of basically the same deer. So where this question comes from is I had a conversation with one of my friends over the weekend, and we were talking about videos and whatever, and hunting, and I got on the subject. I says there's this deer out there that's he's like a 6-pointer on one side and he's a spiker on the other, and I'm thinking about shooting him because he ain't ever gonna amount to nothing. So when I said that, he brought up my video from last year about the genetics and the nutrition, and he said I'm contradicting myself because I'm saying it's genetics, that he's never going to turn out to nothing, but in my video I said it's all about nutrition. So I just want to clarify a little bit. There is a difference between genetics and nutrition, but you can have a perfectly genetic deer, okay, a perfect 8-pointer, and in this area here in Marinette County, he will never become a record deer, you know, for Wisconsin, like he would over in what was that other county? I can't remember what the other county was. Buffalo County, maybe, something like that. So the point I'm getting at, there is a difference, okay? Genetics. This deer that I just showed you, he is genetically impaired, obviously, right? And will he ever turn into a 10-pointer? Yes, he could turn into a 10-pointer, but he's not going to be a pretty 10-pointer, okay? He's not going to be the nice 10-pointer that everybody wants to hang on the wall, okay? So that is genetics, okay? The father deer, the buck, you know, was also genetically impaired, and we have a whole bunch of these running around. I have 4 different spike bucks, or what similar to this guy here. I have 4 of them on the property this year running around. Okay, and one doesn't look any better than the other, so do I shoot this deer? And my answer is yes, because he will never become the 10-pointer that I want to hang on the wall. So if he had a nice perfect 4-point rack in his second year, he's probably a what they call a 1.5 or a 2-year-old deer. So if he had a perfect 4-point rack, I would leave him go, because yes, he could turn into a nice deer, but with what he's showing me right now, he's never going to be that nice 10-pointer. So he's on my list for shooting this year. If he walks out in front of me, I intend on shooting him, and just to put meat in the freezer, but I just want your opinions, so in the comment below, tell me if you would shoot this deer. If so, why? If not, why not? Why not shoot this deer? So you hear all the time, these guys, let them grow, let them grow. But this deer here is not going to grow into that nice 10-pointer that you want to see out of your stand. So that's my opinion on it. I would shoot this deer. I intend on shooting this deer. And I'd just like to get your opinions on it, because it is still about nutrition. The deer isn't stunted because of nutrition. He has a bad genetic gene, okay? But the good deer, the deer that have the nice little 4-pointers, they never get to be that massive deer because of nutrition. And that was the point I was trying to make in that video from last year. But I just want to get your opinions on it and see what you think. So we're going to get back to finishing the siding, and hopefully we'll get that done this week. So my number I measured over there was 20.5. So it needs to be 20.25, right? So this first piece on top here is already at 20.25. So I'm just going to use that as my guide to saw this. You have to go through really slow on that first edge there. This edge up here, you have to go through really slow, or that'll chip. So then I just flip it over, and I line up my blade to what I already just cut. Same thing on this edge. You need to go really slow, or this will chip out. And like I say, this doesn't matter, you won't see it, but it'll throw pieces at your face and whatever. So there I got 2 pieces, and I got 2 more sitting here. Let's cut these 2. So I can double stack these also. So I stack them like that there. Here, I just noticed this one here. See the big chunk out of the corner here? So that's from going too fast. So I'm gonna just snip that off a little bit. too short. Okay, so I got 4 pieces cut. Let's go over there and hang these up. So the hardest part about these shorter pieces is you got to get both of these snapped in there, you know. So you got to kind of bend them. You stick one side in and you bend them, you get the other side to pop in. It takes a little bit of muscle to get that in there. But once you get it in there, you're just sliding it down over this lip like that, and then you get your fingers under there and pop it back up, and it's in there. That's all it is. Put a couple nails in. All right, just like that, 3 nails, and it slides back and forth. I got that one a little tight, but it's all right, it'll work. And then we just continue. So I'm gonna get these other 3 pieces hung. And it's that easy. So now, like I say, it's time consuming for me because I'm doing this all by myself. But if you had 2 guys, if you had one guy nailing, measuring and nailing, and another guy cutting pieces for you, this would probably go pretty quick. It probably wouldn't take long to do a side of a building like that. But seeing I'm doing it all myself, it takes a little longer. That's it. So I'm going to, when I get over to this cutting some of these corners, I will add to this video and show you how I'm cutting them corners and stuff. I'm doing it all with a tin snips. So, because the angle is too sharp for the chop saw. So until I get to that, just hang on a second. Well, I tell you, these pieces above the door were really a bummer to do by yourself. I had to sit there and try and set that in the track and then mark my pieces, you know, for the edges. And the stuff is so flimsy, it kept falling out of the track on me. And I got 2 ladders out here trying to set that up. So I didn't film any of it. It would have looked like a joke. So, but I got it in there. It looks okay. I'm not 100% happy with it, but so remember earlier I was telling you the marks I put on there, you know, everything was perfectly straight. Well, by the time I got to the top of the door, this piece over here was flush, and the piece over here on this side of the door was 3/4 inches down yet. So that door is that crooked, you know. The second door looks pretty straight. It was 3/4 and 3/4. So for whatever reason, the frame of this door is that crooked. And when I finished it all off, I just followed the frame, you know. What else are you gonna do, you know? But if you stand back and take a long, far look at it, it looks fine. You can't really tell. I can tell, but from a distance, you can't tell. So I'm happy with it. It turned out okay. And we're gonna cut a couple pieces to go the rest of the way up here and see how this goes here once for a little bit. So let's take a longer look at it here. So from a distance, you can't even see it, but if you look at that door, you can see it slopes down almost 3/4 of an inch from one corner to the other. But that's the way it is. That's just how it is. It's an old building, so you gotta work with it. So now the rest of it should just go right up. Should be no issues. So what I'm going to do here for this next piece is I'm going to put a full-length piece right in the middle, and that'll cover up my stagger, and then I'll make 2 short pieces for the ends down there. And that way I'm not trying to do that bevel with a long piece. But I mean, the next one up I'm going to have to do a long piece again, but this one shouldn't be too hard. What did I say? That wasn't going to be too hard? I take that back. Oh, shit. The other problem I got here is there is nothing flat or level. So, then you try pushing when you're on the ladder wants to tip over on you. Okay, looks like I just got to move it down just a little bit that way. We're going to call that good. Put a couple nails in her. So you just want to make sure that that lip is tucked in all the way across. Because if it ain't, that's going to cause you some issues. So it's tucked in, we're good to go. And of course, as soon as I was going to start filming, it started raining again. So hopefully you can see this okay. I got my little compass that I made my angle, right? So I just set it against the bottom of that siding piece. And I draw a line. Just like that, okay? And you have to be careful with these because if you bump them, they move. So I checked it just before, so it should be right on. So I got a little straight edge here. And I have my line. So now on the other end here, the other end is your overlap. But I'm gonna put this up there and then I'm gonna mark this here, and I cut a little more off of this here, and not on the bottom here. There's a spot where you gotta cut a little off. And then that makes this piece slide in underneath the other piece. All right, and from the ground you can't tell that that's slid under there. This is the third day of rain that I've been working out here in the rain. So I cut it as far as I can with the tin snips, and I can't get through this here. So I take my my cutoff saw, or my miter box saw, and I just break that edge right there. Okay, so I broke through that corner. And all I gotta do is snip the rest of the way off. And the only reason I'm telling you about the rain is because I don't want you to think that it's all fun and games here. I mean, this is serious work here we're getting done right now. Alright, there you have it. Alright, so now I'm gonna go climb up the ladder and I'm gonna mark this piece. And then I'll trim these back. So let me just go mark this quick. So on the bottom here, they already have a little bit cut, but I'm gonna go all the way up to here so it overlaps a little more. So I just gotta cut this little piece off on this side. I gotta cut off. Okay, so there you go. So you're basically cutting the hook on the bottom off, so that this can slide in behind the other panel that's up there. And then there's enough of this here that holds it straight, and that's how it goes together. So now on this side here, I have to take this whole chunk off. See how it's missing up here? So I have to get this whole chunk off of here. That's a little trickier, but I'll get it off. All right, there you are. Doesn't have to be nothing fancy. That's all gets covered with your next piece. All of this here gets all tucked in, so it really doesn't have to be nothing fancy. So as long as I measure this correctly, this should go right on. Okay, see how that slid right behind there? Just gets slid right up underneath there. And then I have a hook. I don't know if I showed you the hook yet or not. I have a hook for this here part right here. Oh, I got it in my pocket here. This is a siding hook. You get up underneath that lip, and then you can pull that lip down. And that's how I'm going to get this corner in. And then once I get this corner started, then the rest of it will just pop up in there. There it is. So it pops right in and good to go. So all you gotta do is do one for the other end down there. And I don't know, sure would be nice if the sun came out today. But if not, we'll finish it tomorrow. Or the next day. Well, that was pretty close to being centered. This one was 59 inches. I forget what that was, 56 and something, right? That's not too bad. I don't know if you can see that from the ground, but this one ended up with a little gap here, and that is perfectly fine because the other piece tucks up over that, so no big deal. As long as this matches up down here and it fits together good to go. And I'm not worrying about which side the stager is on, which side the flap is on, because we're under an overhang here. If it were down the wall further, yes, then it would matter. You got to put it in a certain direction. But okay, well, I think you get the idea here. It's not that hard. It's hard doing it by yourself, yes, but if you got two people, it shouldn't be that hard to do. Just got to make sure you overlap, tuck everything out, make sure your angles are correct before you cut your pieces. And it goes up pretty easy. It's not too hard of a job. So I think tomorrow, it's supposed to be nicer weather. I'm gonna probably go out hunting again. When was it? That was Saturday when the doe busted me. So today is Monday afternoon. So yeah, I think Tuesday afternoon I'll go out there. She should be all calmed down by now. So we'll see you out there. So I hope you enjoyed another one of my boring videos, and it was such a nice day I decided to come out and sit in the blind for a while.